What's up? How's your
Hey,
Thursday?
Scott. All right, buddy. How you doing? Yeah, pretty good. Actually really good. So, Jamie, how are you?
I'm good, man. Happy Thursday to everybody.
Yes, happy Thursday to everybody, and thank you. I see they're filing in left and right here, so we'll get started here in a minute. Just want to say thanks. This is the Trading Studio. My name's Andy, and that's Jamie and Scott. And welcome aboard. Let's dive in. And before we do, let me go over the disclaimer here. We are content publishers here at Trade Ideas. Okay, so we're going to be talking about a lot of stocks and setups and things like that, but it's only for educational purposes. Nothing that you see or hear should be construed as investment advice. A person that's licensed to give you that advice. That would be a stockbroker or a registered advisor. All right. I think I know a lot of people are going to be happy because after we go over the market recap and the Holly recap, if you go to the docked channel bar, you're going to see, if you go into the trading eye, it's a new layout, and I've dropped the watch list in there. Okay, so now I had some reservations about doing this, but I got so many people asking me for it, so I decided to go ahead and drop it in there. So now in the mornings when you come in a little bit, at least 30 minutes before the bell, you will find a watch list in that layout. And these are stocks that mostly me. Some of the guys will help me out every now if they see something, but it's mostly me doing these. So you'll get kind of a watch list of stocks to watch. Now, I'll talk more about it when I get into that and we look at some of the things I'm looking at, because in this market, it's not a market that I'm chasing high. I'll give you a great example today, guys. So anyway, it has a race in there and has generate some ideas for you guys, those who like to swing trade. And then we're going to talk about where I'm finding success in this market, and it's a little bit, a different strategy than most people. I find it very difficult when you try to buy breakouts because they're not working. Now, maybe with all these great earnings that we see coming out with Amazon and Apple after hours, maybe in a few weeks that'll change. But until then, I'm going to stick with what I'm doing because it's worked for me great, to the long side all year, and I'll talk more about that. And then if we have time, we'll do some Q&A, some chart requests. Anybody has questions, about swing trading or anything else about the software, that'll be the time to do that. But first, let me go over the 5-star support, education, and training for those people who are new in here. We have a vibrant community, and if you look along the left side there, you're going to see we have the trading room. We have that's daily. Anybody can come to that. You don't need to be a subscriber to Trade Ideas. And then we alternate. We do 2 webinars a week. You can see them on the left side there. Right now we're on mine and Steve's, which is Trade of the Week and Trading Studio. Next week you'll have Jamie's Office Hours and Dan and Brad's Q&A and demo. And then, of course, every day you see down there at the bottom, we do have a support webinar. This is where you want to come, guys. If you have any questions about the software and you want to see us display something, show you how to do a configuration, this is where you want to come every day at 12 Eastern time, Monday through Friday. Get in there, and you may hear us talking about stocks, because if we don't have any questions, a lot of times will just pick our brain, because we have a lot of long-time traders here at Trade Ideas. All right, I'll save this for Scott, and let's dive out. Let's talk a little bit about the market. You can see in the after hours, Apple is up from, looks like it went out around 157, up $5 there. And of course, Amazon is the big one. It is up, I think, about 13% or something like that in after hours. And I'm really surprised. I noticed First Solar, a lot of TAN stocks. Be careful on these gappers, because what I'm seeing here, these stocks are still gapping up like we're in a raging bull market, and we're not. And there's a reason for that, because you have a lot of people in this market that are short these stocks, and so a lot of them will cover in pre-market. So it kind of exaggerates that move in pre-market a lot of times, or in post-market, and then you get a really big gap up. So very it's got to look really compelling for me to take some of these huge, 15% in First Solar today. Well, gosh, what was it? Probably 20%, something like that. Yeah, well, all you got to do is look at the 10 index today, and it closed well below from where it opened, and in a perfect doji. So, I'm not sure chasing good earnings is the type of market to do it in. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's take a look at the market in general. Okay, and we'll pull up the SPYs right here. And as you can see, we've had a nice get my Epic pen going while I'm chatting here. Nice bounce off lows. Steve was talking about this in our last webinar. We got above these key moving average. There's your red line is the 20, the green is the 10, and the 50. We popped, and then look what happened. We retraced right back to this level, the 50-day moving average, and now we've had a nice bounce on that. So a very nice bullish action over the last 6 weeks, you could say. Okay, we bounced all the way from 364 to looks like up to 409 here in after hours. It's very nice, but think of stocks, and because I see this all the time, because a lot of times I'll try to play these reversals when I'm playing stocks, and it can be very difficult because we are still in a downtrend, regardless of what you've seen over the last 3 weeks. On the longer term picture, if you look at the SPYs, we are still kind of in a downtrend. Even though we're above some key moving averages, things are looking better. Maybe we got a little blue sky over the next several days, but be careful, because this can turn just like it did over here. Things looked rosy right here too, and look what happened. So be careful. I don't think you can just, this is go back to buy the dip market, quite yet, but things are looking better. I will say that for the bulls. But once again, the bigger picture, we're still below the 200, even though we're above, some key moving averages here. There are definitely some levels you want to keep an eye on if we do start to march higher. This level right there could be our next stop. That's a nice move, though. Maybe we get there tomorrow, or maybe Monday. All right, let's take a look at the Qs. And not quite as strong as the spiders there, but still very same picture there, above key moving averages. And there's your line in the Qs, which could marry up to this downward trend line by the time, if it goes sideways and finally gets up here. You got to keep that trend line, because these can be very powerful once you establish a trend, and we definitely have several points here to make a solid trend line for those Qs. IWM is different. I think I talked about it in a webinar. A lot of times you'll see the IWM bounce first, because a lot of people consider that some serious value there, because they tend to get hit hardest. And look I don't know if this is a bull trap or it's this a possible trend reversal, because they are slightly above that downward sloping trend. Now, I would like to see this something more than that. Obviously, I would not call this a reversal at this point, but if you get several days above this trend and then maybe come back and test it and bounce again, that could be the sign of maybe possibly turning around in this whole overall sector, I should say. But like I said, a lot of work has to be done there. Just one little turtle head above that trend is not enough conviction for me. But all in all, yeah, if it's been great. It's been good trading the last 6 weeks. It hasn't been easy, but it's definitely, if you like to play the long side like most people do, it's been more favorable. Jamie, do you have anything you want to add to the SPYs there?
Oh no, we just reclaimed that little level. I kind of thought it might take another day or so, but that close above that 403 level, that might be the new home. A little sideways action maybe, or maybe, I think these consecutive green days kind of surprised a lot of people. But at this rate, we might be attacking that 416 level.
Yeah,
sometime next week, or who
we
knows?
sure could. We sure could. Yeah, it's there's still a lot of headwinds, but boy, I think after a day where we officially call a recession, that's definitely some nice action. And then of course you had Amazon and Apple, but yeah, I still don't think it's a market you push all the chips in, go all in. But
Oh, still a lot of wood to chop for sure.
yes, yes. Well, I noticed the AI had one beautiful trade today, and you want to
Yeah, I'll
take it
grab it.
over
I
and talk
mean,
about that a little bit?
not a whole lot
No.
to talk about here, but man,
That's
that
fine.
one trade's so beautiful. We got to look at it anyway. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, you should have eyes on my desktop.
I do.
Okay, so here I've got the AI trade panel up, and we can see in all the different risk modes. Conservative won the day today with a couple of points based around 100 shares that you see right here, up a little over 200 and change. Moderate not looking so good. If you didn't take the money, it wasn't around for very much longer, and if you just did everything and hoped, well, you didn't turn out too good today with aggressive. So get rid of that. And, let's just look at this first true trade today, because if you check out conservative and moderate columns right here, we don't really see any spread. We got a little bit in AMRC. Let's look at that one first, because it was a later in the day trade. And, from here to here, yeah, if you would have held it a little bit longer, instead of making 30 bucks, you would have made 68 bucks. So technically that's a little bit of spread between conservative and moderate, but certainly nothing to write home about. We don't see any of that present on the remainder of the trades. Just a couple of losers in GE and INMD. This is the classic case today. Cash, short trade. Nice move initially, but if you didn't take the cash while it was on the table, it didn't stick around for very long, right, on that short trade. That's why conservative did better than moderate today on that one. But this little guy right here, boy, talk about doing exactly what you want a stock to do on a long position. That's just the stairway to heaven right there. This thing just marched straight up for most of the day, a little pullback here in the last hour and a half or so. But boy, what a nice little march up. Entry price 75.87, topping out just shy of 80. So a really decent percentage move there. Of course, the volume was kicking pretty good in TransUnion. 2.57 is how it finished the day. So big liquid stock making a nice big move. And that's pretty much it for Holly today. Nothing to write home about, but some decent gains in the conservative mode.
All right. Thank you, Jamie. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Shoot it back, and I
There
will.
you go.
All right. So let me dive into, let's see here. I got one open, but I'm going to show people how to go and get it. All right. So if you go to the new tab on your toolbar there, you can go down to dock channel bar. For those that haven't been here yet, there's many windows that you can see. And what's great about the docking window is you don't have to basically leave your layout. In other words, it superimposes it right over, not just superimposes it, but puts it right over your layout, so you can keep it up. Whereas if you hit the normal channel bar, you're going to leave your layout, and you're going to go to that channel. So this is a nice feature. And if you scroll down, you're going to see the TI Trader's Eye. And I gave you this a makeover today. And what I've done is added the Swing Trade Watcher. Now, what is the Swing Trade Watcher? What it is I will tonight look at some stuff, but most of it's done in the morning, because I want to see what the market's kind of doing in the morning. I want to see what the gappers are doing. So most of the time I spend about an hour in the morning going through my eye homework. I think I've shown that before, and I've shared it out before. And there's several windows that I'll take a look at and find stocks of interest for possible swing trades. Now, you're not always going to find these charts that are very, near all-time highs, had 3 or 4 days of run. That's not my style. I don't like, I like to look for a setup, whether it's pulling back, maybe going sideways. If it's a breakout, I did throw, oh, I wonder why that RBLX is not in there. That's weird. Maybe because I pulled it up. I had one up and pulled it. Anyway. And this, oh, I know what it is, because once you pull up these docks, they start over and it's got to be a new high. Okay, that's the problem. So because these are going to be time stamped now. The old I channel just had a T window in there. And as soon as I put the symbol in there, it would just populate in the window. Well, the problem with that, I said, well, gosh, it doesn't really have a timestamp with it, okay, because it's a T window, right? So what I did is I created this A window with a 5-minute high. We'll look at the configuration here, and you'll see that it is looking for a 5-minute high. There's no filters, because anything I put in there, I don't need filters. I just want it to show me when it hits a 5-minute high. That way it's going to be timestamped. I experimented around for about a month with this. I was showing this China company this strategy, and I used a 5-minute high with them. Meanwhile, I had a T window up in our channel, and I just found that this works a lot better because it gives it a timestamp. Not only that, I noticed like when the stock's pulling back, it will wait. In other words, you can get a lot better price because it'll wait till it reverses and does that 5-minute high. So I really like this, but here's the key. You can see when I just pulled this up, it timestamped it at 65.60. All right, so if you want to follow this, I'd highly recommend pulling this up in the morning. If you want to follow our swing trades, and pull it up and just minimize it. Okay, that way you'll see when this thing was called. Like JKS was called this morning at, this is the one that I put in there at 63. By the time it hit a 5-minute high, it was at 63.80. But anyway, it was at 63.80 where JKS was called this morning. And you can see I was buying something on a pullback and waiting for it to reverse, and the shoulders were very strong. China was getting hit at the time, but I'm thinking, this is kind of strange for China to be getting hit when our markets are open. So anyway, that was my strategy there. That was called at 63.80. You can see I actually bought this on my account as well. LI was one called the day before, and it was actually called, I believe, right around the level where it's trading now. I actually bought half a position yesterday and another half today. My average price is 32.70. And another one was RBLX, was called also today, just like the way that was setting up, and that was around 42, I think 42.50 or something like that. Maybe it was right here, 42. Anyway, around 42.50. So that's the key, guys. You want to have this up. You want to have this up if you want to see the timestamp when these were called. Because if you pull this up in the middle of the day and I'd already made the call, you may look up here, and what it's going to do, it's whenever I call a stock, if it hits a 5-minute high, you're going to get it real late, and you're not going to know when that was actually called. Now, it is a swing trade, so you can kind of use your own logic. Maybe you'll look to buy a pullback or look for a level. These are not trades. I'm looking to day trade. I'm looking for several days. I'm going to talk a little bit about, I've had a really good several weeks, but I'm going to show you kind of the strategies that I'm looking at. Well, that JKS is a great example, okay? It's a little bit, I don't want to call it contrarian, because I'm not just buying stocks on lows, but if they look good on the daily, and I find a good stock that's pulling back and hitting a moving average, yeah, you're going to see a lot of trades like that versus the ones that are breaking out and hitting highs. Maybe that market will change. I'll do more of that, but right now, and I'm going to give you a good example here in a minute of two trades that I made recently, where one, I kind of bought a new high looking setup, and I'll show you what happened. And then one where, I bought them on a pullback. Okay, so what else is added? Well, I decided to go ahead since races are so popular. Now, remember, these are swing trades, but still, the race is a very good way to see when stocks are moving because this is set up on a 10-minute time frame. So, and it's going to track every stock in here. There's no filters that has to be doing something. If they start moving, like this CSIQ, looks like it's moving, a little bit in after hours. You can see it is. So this can be a very good tool to maybe. I'm not gonna catch everything, and typically I'm only gonna call maybe 1, 2, probably the most 3 trades a day. Lately, it's really just been 1 because the market has been so difficult, and I'm looking for key levels to buy these things. But you might see something that I didn't. EVGL today, I should have bought this on that pullback. It filled the gap totally, man, on that thing. I can kick myself for not buying that down there, but I didn't. But a lot of these things, gosh damn, I think I'm having a little internet glitches. Can you hear me, Jamie?
Yeah, you blipped out a little bit, but I can hear you fine.
Yeah, they were doing some work yesterday. And I keep getting a alert that my connection is restored. So if I lose you, you'll know why. I think I'll be okay, but I am getting some blips here. So anyway, you're going to see some stocks on here like this that RIVN that are going to be really good looking setups that I'm not going to catch everything. Remember, I'm also working for Trade Ideas too while I'm doing this. So this is a way where you can get this swing trade watcher and play it for yourself, because sometimes I do some weird stuff. I mean, like today I bought TCOM down here at 25. So I just took advantage. I'm going like, wait a minute, this is just, this chart was looking beautiful, and then all of a sudden, bam, it hits. But I won't always call stuff like that because when I do something like that, I'll buy half size, and I'll buy a half size whatever it works for me. But
that's a heck of a pattern on that 15-minute.
Look at that. Isn't that incredible?
Uh-huh.
I also bought K-Web near lows too. Now I scalped out of that today, but yeah, I just said to myself, this doesn't make any sense. This getting killed. Our market was trading higher, and it was getting killed. So, it's not the type of trading you want to teach people, but I don't mind, and when I do for small size because I know you're going to. So anyway, yeah, I got a lot of requests for this. So now what you want to do if you want to follow the swing trades is bring up the swing trade layout, bring it up before the bell so you won't miss anything. And then of course you can follow along with the incredible races here and get some ideas on your own. Yeah, I think it's a nice feature. There's been some great calls lately actually too. So I'll go over a few of those here in a minute. But I want to give you an example, and this is what's been working for me. So this is what happens a lot of time. Now, Tau was looking beautiful yesterday. Okay, it's been trying to get and stay above this $5 for a long time. It has earnings tomorrow in pre-market, so I probably wouldn't have stayed. Maybe I held on to a little, and then it reached up to this $5 level. Instead of pulling back like it has been, it was just kind of going sideways. So yesterday I bought some at 503. I think was my first purchase. Let me take it back to yesterday. And then it was going sideways. And this is when the market really took off yesterday after the Fed announcements. And I added to my position at like 518. So I had about a 510 average. Well, this is what happens. And I kick myself when I look at the daily for getting out. But China opened up, I had a full size, probably more than I wanted because I was expecting a follow through. And what do? You get a gap down, a drive down. I sold it when it broke 5, wasn't a big loser. And what did it do? It came down here, kissed the 10 period moving average like we see so many times. And then of course bounced on me. That happens. a lot of times I tell you that when I trade, if a stock doesn't do what I anticipate it to do, I am going to get out. Now, if I just held on to my half size like I should have, I could have stomached that and probably would have even bought more down here. But off that 10, that's how I should have played it, but I didn't. But the point I wanted to make is you get a lot of action like this when you're buying stocks, that are at or near a breakout. And I have not had luck doing this lately because, and there's a reason for it. We've been in a bear market pretty much all year, except maybe over the last week or so. And so a lot of people got trigger fingers, okay? And for a good trader, you can use that in your advantage, much like I did today in some of the stocks. And and that's where I've been making all my money. I have been making my money buying sweet setups like this. This works when there's a raging bull market, but when you're in this market where a lot of nerves are on edge, man, I'm telling you, you can get the sweetest prices, if you're just patient, like that JKS this morning. Solars were strong. JKS, gapped up with the solars and just got whammed. And I bought it down here on the, my first buy was down here on the 5-day, and I think this is going to work. I think it's going to work out great. And I actually added to my position. You can see my price now is 63.06. It's up to 65.90 in after hours. I'm very, happy with that. Another one that I recently bought and I called is this LI. Okay, man, a lot of the EV stocks have been doing great over here. Okay, for some reason, China has been sluggish. I don't know whatever the reason is. Maybe it's the people trying to run on the banks that can't get their money out. I play the charts, and that kind of stuff doesn't scare me. So, I'm loving the way this is looking, and my average price is 32.70. So I'm not, I'm barely, above water right now. But I love this setup right here. Checking this out, it kind of filled the gap back here as well. Okay, came down, touched this high, got close to the closing price, and then bounced off that 50-period moving average. These are the trades where I've been making, most of my money, because remember, this had a heck of a move. Look at this move it had from here. Now you're just pulling back and you're bouncing off. May not work, but if it does, I'm expecting this to be a huge winner. And this is the kind of trade, even though I really have a full size right now, but I may get real aggressive if it takes out today's high and then with volume. And that's where, you can really get aggressive. And that way you can scalp out half, maybe if it gets up here to the 10-period moving average and be in a really good position on your second half. But I'm trying. Oh, DQ. I bought DQ right off this 50. Now I'm out of this. I reached my target. I bought it around 59 something, and it reached up here, and that was my target. So that was about a $5 trade. I've been taking a lot of scalps in this market. This one may get going as well, but excuse me, it hadn't been chasing highs where I've been making my money, just like in that T-Com buy today. This is one I did buy near highs, looking for a possible short squeeze. I bought today at 804, and possibly looking for a short squeeze there. But trying to think of some ones I got out of recently. Let me look at my cheat sheet. I already closed that. Yeah, I think I did. Hold on. DQ. Oh, this one was one that I chased, but worked out really well. And this is one. Oh, if you guys were in the last Friday webinar, the support webinar, yeah, and I'm sure there's a few people in there. When I was in there, I called this out when I bought it, and my price was about 63. I think it was around 63.50. Great move there. I think I sold half and then sold the rest yesterday. Just had an incredible run, so I took it. Another one that was called in the eye was CTVA on this day right here, and another great trade. I got out of this one. When they start running into the 50 in this market, I've been taking my profits, but So you can see, guys, a lot of these trades I'm buying is not, and a lot of the calls you see in there, you may scratch your head when you first see them and thinking, well, wow, this is not a very strong chart, or this has been trading down. It's a different type of strategy where I can buy half a position, and then when it works and turns, I can buy another half. That is what's the stuff that's been working. It's not been chasing highs. It just it's kind of like Ford today. It gapped up and pretty much closed flat from the open today. It just I don't want to be chasing in this market. Let me get a drink here, real quick. All right. I don't have much else for today, guys. I did want to talk about some of these strategies I've been working on. I definitely wanted to show the trader's eye. I'm going to see if there's any more things I wanted to talk about. The races I wanted to talk about. There's RBLX, which is trading up in after hours. I guess finally hit a 5. You can see what happens, guys. When you pull this up, it's going to register anything that's in this. I have what's called a global symbol list, right? That's attached to this window. So everybody has access. Even though I created the symbol list, everybody has access to it. So that's how it's going to work. So when you see these, now this one is a little bit different, and because this is one that why didn't that change? That I did buy, but I did like, this is not one that ran to all-time highs. It's been kind of consolidating at this level, but I'm not I'm not really excited about it. But I call it for the eye anyway, just because it's such a critical level there, and if it can get through, I think this thing could have a nice little push. But if you look at the daily, obviously this is not something that's anywhere near a 52-week high, so it's a little bit different there. But it is pretty much on a 3-month high. All right, Jamie. I don't have a. Oh, Soul was one I bought, and beautiful today. I bought it yesterday. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, this is one I've been trading in and out of a lot, and I bought it yesterday at 488, and I couldn't help but I had such a good winter, and I couldn't help but sell it today. But I turned around and bought JKS. So that's the kind of stuff I'm looking for. I'm looking for stocks that are pulling back, near a 3-month high, pulling back and setting up, and then looking to stock them and jump in them like that. But trying to think if there's anything else that I need to cover. And while I'm doing this, guys, if any of you out there, you have any questions about swing trading, or if there's anything you want me to share with you, obviously I don't need to share that channel with you because you have access to it. Or if you have any charts you want me to look at, I'll be happy to look at those as well. Yeah, so because I'm pretty much done with my content for today. Did not talk about this TXPY. This is something that I set in. Bought some yesterday, added to it today, and boy, I had to be real patient with that one. Scalped out of 2/3 of it, still have a third of that left. Want to keep an eye out. Oh, this one, this is a spec play, guys, that you want to keep an eye on, especially if China. Okay, a stock that's been really decimated over the years, and I know, but you know what, Jamie, I know if this gets going, and what I do is I buy these things on pullbacks, and I just buy little chunks at a time, and then next thing you know, it starts to take out a couple of days high, and I have a pretty big chunk. But what I like is when a lot of times when you see volume like this that comes into a stock for a reason, what happened is they got their compliance with the NYSE, everything's cool, they're not going to be delisted and all that. So they got you. Anytime you see huge volume like that came in and the stocks pull back, in most cases you get at least one more try out of it. In other words, if this takes out the 587 tomorrow, keep an eye on that, because it'll take out that 10-period moving average, clear these levels right here, and you might get a run. Now it's a low floater. It's a low floater, but a lot of times what I'll do is I'll stalk these, and then if they break, I get out pretty quick. But man, if they if they work and volume comes in, and then I get stupid long, and next thing you know. I'm usually scalping out pretty quick when I do that, especially if it's only 5 million shares in the flow. But, a dangerous play, but the risks, the reward to risk can be really big in something like that. But not for the faint of heart. I don't teach this type of trading. But all right, got some Costco, Dave. I think you asked about that, and Steve's, and lo and behold, it worked out for you. Great job, man. That looks good. That looks good. And yeah, you got a level. Let's see, right about here, and you got a level. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You're above all key moving averages, all above the 10, the 200. That's an easy one now, because I remember you calling out your range. Well, I mean, where you got it at. So I know you're big in the money. That's kind of one where personally I would scalp out. If it has a hard time, if it does make it to this 550 level, that's going to be a key level, psychological level, and you also got some resistance right here. I would be thinking about taking off half, and just locking in some profits. And then could be one of those ones where you just put a stop in to assure you don't take a loser on the second half and let it work for you. But yeah, that looks nice. And Monster, I know that stock always looks good. Very strong chart. Key level here. Boy, $100 is such a psychological level. You can see it's been trying this level forever. People just like their energy drinks. I'm surprised I wonder if they're getting any competition. What's that one I see all over the place now? Celsius or something like that.
There's a ton of them.
Yeah, they're everywhere. I just wonder if they're getting any competition. Are they a publicly traded company? I mean, probably Monster. Did they own them?
I'm not sure. Didn't Monster spin off from Coca-Cola a long time ago?
Good question. I don't know.
I think I could be wrong.
Let's see if they mentioned Celsius in here. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Dave. Both of those look great. I wouldn't be a buyer here, me personally. If it's like I said, a raging bull market, that's another story. But boy, I'm really picky about where I buy stuff in this market. All right. Well, Jamie, like I said, that's about all the content I really wanted to drive home, because I know a lot of people have been sending me and asking, and also this will be recorded. So any of those that are watching the recording, just take note. If you do want to watch those swing trades, pull it up before the market, because if I do make a call in there, it's gonna, it could mess you up if you pull it up later in the day. Your price tag on that thing may not be the same as when it was called, so be careful there. Where can I find your current holdings? Well, typically you can find mine on my blotter. Anything I do in my real account is going to be in my paper trading account, my brokerage plus right here. So what I do, I just mimic whatever. Well, I don't do this kind of size. I do kind of stupid size in here, but hedge fund size in here. But I will, yeah, all my positions will be in there. I don't know if you're talking about me, yeah, or Steve will do the same thing. He'll put his in there. Poor Steve's kicking himself in that SkyX. Look at this move, man. Today, that's just crazy. He had a great trade, but so hard when you get. I mean, to expect an 80% move, but that's what it had today.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, Dave, it's fun to pretend. Yeah, you're a hedge fund manager. So yeah, I just I like to buy size in there when I can. Yeah, TCOM was just that was just taking advantage of a drive down. And because here's the thing, guys. I mean, think about it. Unless there's some just drastic news coming out, I know I think she and Biden met today, but so maybe there was just some, something people were anticipating something. I don't know, maybe tariff stuff or whatever. But these Asian markets, they trade on their own overnight, right? And they were pretty much, flat, maybe slightly down, and all of a sudden a drive down like 4 or 5%. Some of these stocks, I'm like, something doesn't seem right. I think this is a great buying opportunity. Hey, and if you're wrong, you just get. But the thing about it is, I have the sense enough that if I'm wrong, I get out quick. Okay. If you don't have sense enough to get out quick and get stubborn, and then don't play that game. But anyway, all right. I'm not seeing any more questions or anybody else wanting to look at any stocks today. Keep in mind, guys, the races are incredible to find a different way to look at stocks, and all of the traders here, okay, even those ones that are really dogmatic and have their own system, every one of us has changed and started watching these races, and that says a lot. Okay, when you have traders 25 years they've been trading doing something away, and then all of a sudden not willing to adapt and switch to a new way to look at data, that tells you there's something remarkable going on. And if you haven't done it, please get in there and check them out. I use it for my China watch list. I use it for my big cap things I typically like to call. Look at that thing. I tell you, got out way too soon on that one. All right. Well, we're going to call it a day. I'm going to bring Scott back in. You guys hang on. He'll have a code for you and maybe talk about our test drive coming up.
Yeah, thanks, Andy.
Couple items on the way out. If you are an interactive brokerage client, or if you are thinking about becoming one, keep in mind you can connect your interactive brokerage account with your Trade Ideas installation and trade directly from Trade Ideas through your interactive brokerage account. They're a super reliable broker. I think they're the second highest used broker among all of our clients. So you can learn more about that by going to trade-ideas.com/IBKR. And if you're an E-Trade client, you can likewise connect your E-Trade account to our Brokerage Plus module and trade directly from Trade Ideas using your E-Trade account and get $0 commission. So go to trade-ideas.com/E-Trade to learn more about that. We have an ebook. Our most recent one is the Favorite Strategy Indicators of Dave Mabe, our Director of Software Development. If you don't have this book yet, grab it. It's free. Just go to trade-ideas.com/strategy. Get that download. As I mentioned at the top of the meeting, we have a test drive coming up. Oh, it's strength alerts. Yeah, we do have strength alerts. I'm trying to go back to that one. I thought we were one ahead of that. Strength alerts is great if you're not quite ready to become a full Trade Ideas subscriber, $17 a month. If you love the trade of the week, then you really like strength alerts a lot more. You get 5 trades every Sunday night. Go to trade-ideas.com/strength. That page will tell you all about it. And as I was getting ahead of Andy there on, we do have a test drive coming up second week of August. It starts August 15th. Sign up now to save your spot. You get to use Trade Ideas Premium for 2 weeks, and it costs $11.11 to take care of the data fees and the extra support that we have during this trial. But it's a great way to try out a premium version of Trade Ideas without committing to the upgrade or getting a full-on Trade Ideas subscription. So just go to trade-ideas.com/test drive to sign up for that. And we have a code if you decide you want to do an upgrade or start an account right now. Just use the code FASTDATA on your checkout or your upgrade and save 15% off your first month or year of Trade Ideas. Follow us on YouTube. It's Trade Ideas on YouTube. We've got Steve Gomez is TI Steve G. We also have @Trade Ideas. Jamie Hodge is @FontBot. Facebook.com/Trade Ideas Pro is that handle. And if you have any questions, just email info@tradeideas.com. It goes to our help desk. Gets you that support. The recording will be up later on tonight. It'll be accessible by tomorrow morning, and you get an email reminder tomorrow with a link to the playlist. So thank you, Andy. Thank you, Jamie. Thanks all. Good luck.
Thanks everybody. Ali, you can, there's that code for you again, Fast Data for 15% off. And also, I'm not sure about your question about chart patterns. If you would send that to info@trade-ideas.com, we'll get an answer for you. Be more specific about what you're looking for as far as chart patterns go. All right, see some of you guys tomorrow.
See you next time. Bye-bye.